Be prepared and be consistent. I'm Jim Ross. He's Matt VanHorn. And this is 3 Mile Domination, where we talk about anything and everything regarding the world of self-storage. Hi everyone, this is Jim Ross and Matt VanHorn, and this is episode number 15 of the 3 Mile Domination Show. What's going on, Matt?
Doing well, how about you?
Good. Did you have a good week?
I did. Very busy. Very productive.
Busy's always good.
Some days, yeah.
Some days we need a break, but I like the motion of activity. That's good. Anyway, I want to get into this article here that you found today. I know me and Matt are always avid readers of what's going on in storage, even though that's our life and our business, so we always keep on top of what's going on in the media and in the news, and you came across an article. We wanted to touch on that today.
Yeah, as boring as that as Jim just made us sound. We try to read everything that comes out in the industry, all the daily stuff, monthly stuff, whatever else we can get our hands on, just to kind of get a feel for the pulse. But today, Sparefoot, which I get a lot of credit, they have a really good blog they call the Storage Beat.
They do have a good blog.
It's solid. I like it. A guy named one of the guys named Alexander Harris wrote this article, who I've read before, and he actually writes. I mean, it's a solid. If you guys want to look for something solid, it's actually well put together. The articles, the acquisition roundup, where they tell you who's acquiring who for what.
Yeah. Yep.
It's all the way around. It's pretty solid. I like it. But one of the things they were talking about, the name of the title of this article today was, and it just came out today, was new supply impacts public storage performance in some markets. And they were specifically targeting Denver and Houston, which, of course, everybody listening to this podcast, some of you may be near there, some of you may not be, some of you might be in there.
No, Denver specifically is exploding.
Yeah, I mean, they did. Ron Havner, who's the CEO of Public, basically pointed out Denver and Houston as some of their weaker, not to say weak markets, that's not the wrong way of putting it, but some of the markets that are softer than they have been in the past. Mm-hmm. In Denver, their revenue declined 8.3%. In Houston, it declined 6.6%. Any of you who know the Colorado market around Denver know it's been booming for the last few years in development-wise. I mean, there's still more going in out there. And occupancies declined by about 150 to 200 basis points. So about 1.5 to 2 points down total in those markets. And you're talking about companies like, that have been holding at 93, 94% average across their portfolios for the last few quarters, because I read their, the transcripts of their quarterly calls and things just to see how they're doing. Even though a REIT's operation, if you're a mom and pop, if you guys own 1, 5, 10, the numbers may not be apples to apples, but the feeling of what's going on in the market is.
You could say it gives you a good barometer of what's going on.
Yeah, it gives you an idea of what they're thinking, and they see, they can measure this stuff across 48 states where, typically those of us who are doing this are regional, or we have, properties scattered about.
Yeah.
And he also pointed out that Washington, D.C., Chicago, West Palm Beach, which I work in, and New York City are all other areas that are experiencing soft markets right now. There's other places that there's really strong performances like San Fran, L.A., and Seattle. And really what you're starting to see, if you think about what he just said, it's more or less the properties that have the areas that have a very high barrier to entry, like San Fran, like Los Angeles, like Seattle, where, you basically have to, sacrifice a bunch of things to something to be able to get anything approved there to build.
Sure.
Of course, it's going to be harder because it's going to be harder to get supply built in there. But these other markets, I know you and I have worked in Chicago before. You can get stuff done there. Palm Beach, close to my house. Yeah, you can get stuff done. It's not the easiest thing in the world. New York City has been having a lot of development going in there lately, and for very high price per square foot. And then D.C. I've never worked in, but I imagine, as in other areas, you can probably get stuff done. Guys, it's coming. This little renaissance we've had for the last 8 years since we got out of the financial crisis, and really since like 2011, where things have been starting to pick up.
Yeah.
2012, where we've been able to do, and then now we're, with rates, street rates, with customer rates, when we've pretty much been able to do whatever we want for revenue management. And for those of out there who have not been heeding our warning about getting your marketing stuff together, because this is coming, be ready because it's here. The next 18 to 24 months, the probability of a competitor popping up in your market is higher than it's been in the last 8 years.
Of course. I mean, development's nuts. I remember the ISS show we had last year, and I shouldn't be surprised, but just seeing just the sheer number of developers that were out there was
This year too.
insane. And I'm sure this year too, exactly.
In May, it was packed.
Yep.
That should scare everybody. Because normally when, after I remember going through this, through the financial crisis in 08 and, when we were all building like crazy 03, 04, 05, and then all of a sudden the world fell off a cliff in 06, 07, 08, or 07 and 08. And then we were all sitting here shocked and we couldn't get, you couldn't get a construction loan after the financial crisis for quite a while. I mean, people were going to private equity and things like that because banks weren't lending. Well, guess what? They're lending now. And I'm hoping that it's not going to be as crazy as it was last time. I'm hoping a lot of those people who just read in the Wall Street Journal or Inc. magazine said storage is a great thing, and they went and built, that it's not going to be that way this time. But I don't know. We've been one of the best performing real estate sectors, period, and we're no longer under the radar. People know what storage is. Investors know what it is, and they're getting into it.
And so, I mean, really, in those markets that you pointed out, were they kind of making that correlation of just the more competition that's coming in, that's what's affecting the rates?
Yeah.
Okay, exactly.
I mean, in this article, they said that Havner estimates, and they would know, they're in a lot of states, 37 or 38 of them, I think. They estimate that there's been a 20% uptick in the volume of new supply over the last 12 months.
There you go.
And that's not even that much compared to what had been coming. I mean, I remember when, after this thing happened originally, when all, like I said, we all remember the real estate crisis when all of a sudden moving stopped overnight. Lehman went under, and the investment banks were bailed out. We all remember. A lot of us remember that.
Sure.
And, you could not get a loan. The banks froze up. Now you can. It's coming back. And guys, I'm telling you, when you start going to the seminar, the shows like ISS or SSA, and you start seeing, and even in the FSSA down here where I'm a part of, where we had a number of people in the developer seminar. When you start seeing no marketing seminars and they're all development seminars, you know they're coming.
Yep.
That's the key. I mean, last time it was development, financial crisis. Everybody got held with a storage facility, didn't know how to fill it. Then it was marketing for about 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. And nobody was doing development because A, you couldn't get a loan, and B, people couldn't fill out what they already had. Well, that supply is done. I mean, I recently did a market study in an area of Florida. I think I had mentioned this before, that I had done a feasibility study for, I think 7 or 8 years ago. Yeah. And when I went to do the market study, there had only been one new competitor built in like 8 years. One.
Jeez.
And this is a fairly decent metro area in Florida.
Wow.
It's not
really.
It's not in the boonies. It was a fairly decent metro area.
And how long ago was that?
This was December that I did the second report. The first report I did, I don't remember, 07, 08, somewhere in that area.
I'm curious
now. 9, somewhere in that area. Yeah, and I went back and checked. Same exact properties, except some of them had been bought out by REITs, but the square footage number hadn't gone up, just the name changed. But now there had only been one new competitor built in that radius since I had been there, and again, it was it's a pretty heavy metro area.
So I'm just curious now, that's been 8-9 months now, if there has been more any competitors that are looking to build there, or again, you've just seen so much. Going on, yeah.
Or if something else came in, here's the deal, guys. We've been able to have a free for all for whatever we wanted to do for the past at least 2 to 3 years.
It's been good for a while.
We could raise rates. I've seen revenue management go on the level of absurd. What people are willing to pay, what they're willing to tolerate.
Yep.
The lack of customer service, the lack of marketing that properties are allowed to spew out into the community. Because there's no supply. So if there's no supply, well, then, of course, everybody's going to be full. So they don't feel that they have to invest in this or train in sales or train in anything because they're filling up by default. Was it the rising tide, brings up all boats?
Yep.
Well, guess what? When the tide goes out, we're going to find out with the ones who figured out how to keep going because it's coming, guys. 18 to 24 months from now, it's going to be in full swing. Yeah, right now, a lot of people are just picking out where they want to build, and they're getting their documents in a row, and they're working with the municipalities, which is going to take months and months and months, and then it's going to take another 6 to 9 months to build it. But that's coming. They're already working on it, guaranteed. If you're not keeping a track of your market, you better be.
Yep. So the bottom line is be prepared, know your market, inside and out, know what's coming. And again, when you find yourself in a price war and you've got a new developer coming on, there's that much more square footage out there. People have choices on where to rent. You just need to be the one that's prepared to have the right marketing materials behind you, the right training with the managers to be able to stand out, to get the rental over your competitor.
You need to be sandbagging your property now.
Yep.
Because the tidal wave is coming. If you're masquerading like you're doing marketing, which a lot of people do, or if you're sitting there and think, well, I don't even know how my managers are performing over the phone, just because you're looking at the occupancy or the economic occupancy or your income, you're saying, well, everything must be good because I'm making money, and my rate of return's high, my debt services, have been paid. Hey, I just refinanced at a great new rate and pulled some money out. Well, hey, it's coming. I mean, you could easily drop 10, 15 points in the next price wars. And it's the problem. You don't want to market on price. You don't want to be part of a price war.
Yep.
You can be the highest in the market if you've got great sales, great marketing, and a follow through, and do proper revenue management. You can I'm not going to say it won't affect you at all, but you can sandbag yourself to where you can outlast the competitor.
Oh, exactly. Yep. The hit won't hurt as much when it does happen that way, and you're able to, soften any blows when you do have a competitor coming in. If you have all the systems and the marketing and the training in place, that's what me and Matt we preach about every week on these episodes of just when it comes down to training and the right marketing and operations, but it's all working in conjunction with each other. And I hate to say it, but you're not being lazy about it and complacent, and being proactive and putting these in place. Then you'd be in a lot better shape than trying to scramble at the last second when you do find yourself, in the middle of a highly competitive market.
Well, listen, and remember, any new competitor that comes on board is, they're on a construction loan typically. Can't say for every competitor how they're financed, but most every one of them is on some sort of construction loan, and they got to refinance out of it in 36 months or 24 months, whatever it is.
Yep.
So, it's like the old bear joke. It's the bear's chasing. You don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun the other person and let them go under. But the problem, what happens is by the time everybody's competing, if you've got people that are building that maybe not sophisticated operators, or don't have anybody consulting with them or working with them or a management company or whatever it is, helping them get to this point, the first thing they're going to do is lower price because they don't know how to do anything else.
Yeah, that's the need.
And then they're going to
and
then they're going to start promising customers that they'll never raise their rate. And then you're going to see crazy crap like I saw down in Florida back during the financial crisis, where somebody puts in they build a store and they'll give you 12 months half off, a year, half off.
That's nuts.
How many of you can live on 50% economic occupancy?
No, all they're looking at is just the occupancy number, not the income.
But that special doesn't even make any sense.
No, it doesn't. Not at all.
It's just somebody who got desperate and threw something out there.
Yep.
But this is the crazy crap I'm trying to warn people about. It's coming again. Now, it's going to be dependent on how much gets built this time. But I mean, everything I read, all I read about the accolades of self-storage and how great it is, and it is if you do it right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But people aren't going to even take the time to do that. So, guys, we're warning you now. And, we can talk about how this turns out. And then when Jim and I are having another call here, or another discussion, another 12 to 24 months, which we will, and, all of a sudden we can start getting the reports, extra space stocks drop, public stocks drop, their revenue is lower than what it was last quarter. Their occupancy is lower than it was last quarter because they're competing. If you don't get your marketing stuff in line now, get your sales stuff in line now, get your revenue management in line now, you are going to have a very rough time over the next 5 years. And if you don't want to, sell it now.
No,
Cap rates as low as I've seen them. Sell it now, and you won't even have to worry about this conversation. You can take a couple $1 million, listen to Jim and I on a boat, and not have to worry about it. But guess what? If you're going to stay in it, you better get up. You better gear up because it's coming, guys. And the REITs are going to know how to play this game too, and they're not going to give up their market share to you.
Yep.
So you better gear up now. This is a warning.
Be proactive. Be prepared.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this since the beginning of the year, but this is the first actual article that I can recall in the last few months actually saying that
points it out.
Yeah, well, things were a little softer this quarter. That's the start of when bad things start happening.
Yep.
I mean, it's just, even their same-store revenue, and again, Public's a big company, same-store revenue, because the revenue management clicked up 6%. Net income was up 6.6% over the quarter to quarter, but their same store occupancy ticked down from 95.4 to 95.3. Now, over how many stores they have, it's not so much big of a deal, but what we're saying is it's coming. It's already starting to affect them. It's already up. It's already ready. Now, it's not hitting every market at the same time. Like I said, if you're in a market where it's hard to build in or hard to get any supply in, like a San Francisco, you're going to be in a lot better shape. But, excuse me, but in these other markets, like, for example, like I said, Houston, and then those of you who are in Denver, and you know where the development hasn't stopped for, 4 years? It's been going on nonstop for as long as I can remember. You're gonna have to start competing. Some of you don't know how. Some of you bought a facility during the good times and everything. You've been sitting back and popping champagne and watching your revenue and your income go. Your income, your revenue, your NOI. Expenses drop or stay stable, and your occupancy increased by everybody thinking they're a genius just because it did it. It's coming, guys. Gear up. It's my warning.
Well, I think we've hit that home now here, so we'll keep this here at the 15-minute mark. So let's wrap this up. So again, be prepared, be proactive, and that way when you find yourself in a very competitive market, sooner or later, you'll be in the right spot to be able to compete and be successful.
But you need to start now.
Start now, exactly.
Well, you needed to start a year ago, but you need to start right now if you haven't, because marketing is not something you flip the switch on and flip off with. Nope. You need to have a solid plan, not an advertising campaign, a marketing plan where you're constantly building relationships through the net, through the ground, through direct mail, whatever you're doing, so you constantly have a stream, because it is much harder to start it back up once you stopped it.
No. And so we've talked about that before. When it comes to marketing, it's consistency, and it builds upon itself, and you're just riding that momentum. But it's all about consistency. You just can't turn it on and off.
Right.
Yep, exactly. All right. Well, let's wrap this one up. That was a great article. I think we'll do that. We'll do these some more when we see these kind of articles that strike a nerve. We'll discuss them in detail.
Yep.
All right. Let's wrap it up. Take care.
Have a good week, Jim.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Go to 3miledomination.com/call to schedule your free 30-minute marketing tune-up call. I'll give you solid advice you can easily implement with or without us. Until next time.